Okay, so I got a message for the Christians out there who sit there and say things like, um, well, Christianity is so much better. I mean, look what atheism does. It leads to, or Darwinism and atheism does, leads to people like Hitler and Mao Zedong and Pol Pot, shit like that. Um, okay, well, um, first of all, Darwin lived like back in the 1800s and Hitler was 20th century. You know, just because Hitler decided to pervert and warp some of Darwin's fucking views, um, uh, and incorporate them into what he was doing, um, isn't Darwin's fault. That's like comparing, um, that's like, okay, judging God by the actions of the Westboro Baptist Church. Get real. You know, and how and what makes you any better? What makes Christianity any better? These people seem to have fallen asleep in world history class somewhere between the 11th, or no, yeah, the 11th and 15th century when all those crusades and inquisitions were going on. When the Christians went around Europe and committed mass murder of anybody who didn't believe in their God. You know, oh, you don't believe in my God? Well, then die. You know, I'll give you a chance. Do you want to believe in God? No. Well, then die. Um, if you really want to look at it. Oh, and then there's what you guys did over in South America when you guys like came over there. You wholesale slaughtered a entire. Well, you basically committed genocide for all in factual purposes. Christianity is guilty of genocide. Yes, almost guilty of it anyway. More people have been killed in the name of the Christian God than anyone than for any other reason in the past 2,000 years. And you people just don't seem to want to face that fact. Um, and that's pretty sad because you go after anybody else who's a mass murderer, but no, your religion is Christ centered and it's beautiful and wonderful and harmless and everybody's going to live in peace and harmony except the scumbag sons of bitches that don't believe you. And you're going to jump for joy as they burn and scream and holler in a place called hell that you thought up. Hell. Hell isn't even Jewish. Um, you completely misinterpret the Old Testament. Hell is nowhere in the Old Testament. There is no concept of hell in the Jewish tradition that I am aware of. I could be wrong. If I am, please tell me. Um, there is a place of punishment, but it's not called hell. Um, yeah. Uh, you see, you can take the Bible, you can take any book and warp it to mean anything you want. And to sit there and blame the author of a book for the actions of someone who read it is just plain stupid. It's retarded, it's intellectual dishonesty, and it shows your ignorance. And that's pretty much what Ray Comfort's trying to do with his little preface to Darwin's new book, or Darwin's uh, handing out Darwin's Origin of Species, with a 50-page foreword about how he was a racist, which he wasn't, how he hated women, which he didn't, and how he's responsible for Hitler and the Third Reich, basically. And I'm sitting there thinking, they warped this guy's views to fit their own beliefs, and you just don't understand that shit. And you people are the king of warping views. I mean, your preachers are nothing more than um, um, what do you want to call it? Word manipulators or phrase manipulators. I mean, they literally take sound bites from the Bible, what amounts to sound bites, to mean whatever they want. Let's go here. We read here that this, and that's because it says in the Old Testament this, and this. You know, and it's like, first of all, the Jews don't have a concept of the Trinity. The Christians made that up. The Christians made Jesus the Savior. I challenge anyone who is a Christian fundamentalist who watches this to show me where in the Old Testament the Messiah is killed, comes back from the dead 3 days later, leaves again, comes back, and judges. There is nothing in the Old Testament that says that's going to happen. Absolutely nothing. They don't say the Messiah is going to come, get killed, and then return. They say he's going to come and set them free. Jesus didn't do that. Jesus was not the Messiah to the Jews. Um, and that is why they don't accept him as Jesus. You're the idiots who came up with the second coming bullshit because he didn't fulfill all the prophecies. So obviously he's got to come again in order to, keep the fulfillment. Um, yeah, it's laughable at best, you know. Um, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that fervently believe this. And, it's your right to do it, but it's not your right to force others to believe the same thing you do. It is not your right to censor the views of others that don't believe the same thing you do. Um, I don't censor any of my comments. I mean, my hate mail is right there for you to read on any video you see of me. I don't only under very rare circumstances will I delete the comment that is critical of me or threatening of me, you know, but that's just me. So, yeah, I have a real problem with somebody who would sit there and just be so completely brain dead and dishonest, you know. These people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know very much about their own faith. Most of these fundamentalists here on YouTube, they don't know much about their own faith. They're not very knowledgeable in history. Um, and they think science is the product of Satan, so they're not going to believe anything science says. Um, and to come up with their joke theories, the only thing they go to are other Christians. And the only people they cite are other Christians, unless they're trying to make the person look bad, you know, and it's despicable, it's underhanded, it's unchristian, um, it's against the Ten Commandments because you're constantly bearing false witness. Oh, but it's okay to do that in the name of God. I have actually seen that typed up on a fucking Christian website. It's okay to lie as long as it's for the glory of Jesus and God. It literally stated that in bold words. So, yeah. Underhanded tactics, um, intellectual dishonesty, um, misinterpreting the facts, and blaming people who don't deserve blame. Um, yeah. And you wonder why people laugh and mock you. Excuse me, but there it is there. That's why they do it. They laugh and mock you because you deserve it. Some of you deserve it. Some of you Christians definitely deserve it. Not all of you. I'm not blaming all Christians. I'm just blaming the idiots. The idiots who don't know their faith, don't know history, and aren't willing to accept reality. They want to live in their little fucking pipe dream. So, yeah. More power to you, dude. Stay the fuck out of my classroom, bitch.